Today on Raceweek Illustrated Garage Talk, we take a look back at the Beau Slocumb Memorial. We sit down with second-generation racer Chase Elliott, and we take a look at race results from across the region. All that and more coming up on Raceweek Illustrated Garage Talk. Hi folks, I'm Brandon Reed, and welcome to Raceweek Illustrated Garage Talk. We're here at Gresham Motorsports Park in Jefferson, Georgia. We've got a lot to bring to you in this half hour, so let's get right to it with today's headlines. Chase Elliott comes back from a one-lap penalty to score the victory in the second annual Beau Slocumb Memorial 208 here at Gresham. We'll have more on that in a few minutes. Brian Lofton makes an emotional trip to victory lane in the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified event at Caraway Speedway in Asheboro, North Carolina. It was Lofton's first win since his wife passed away last year. Rain washed out Saturday's Neesmith Chevy Dirt Late Model Series event at Greenville Speedway in Greenville, Mississippi, and the ASA has announced they'll return to South Africa for the second ASA Free State 500 in Welcome Free State, South Africa. The race will be held on November 25th. You can read more about these and other headlines at RaceweekIllustrated.com. Our lead story this week, of course, is the second annual Beau Slocumb Memorial 208, which opened the Pro Late Model season here at Gresham Motorsports Park. Chase Elliott set fast time in qualifying and started on the pole with Alabama's Augie Grill alongside. On the drop of the green flag, Grill would get an early advantage, but after an 8-lap tussle between the two, Elliott would surge ahead, putting his Aaron's Dream Machine firmly in the top spot. Lap 20, Elliott's teammate Mason Massey cuts a tire and makes heavy contact with the fourth turn wall. Massey was okay, but the Jeff Foxworthy racer was all wadded up. His night was over. Lap 31, a major incident takes out many of the front-running hopefuls when defending winner Bubba Pollard lost an engine in turn one, triggering a massive crash that gathered up Mike Garvey, Russell Fleeman, Anderson Bowen, Spencer Davis, Colt James, and Austin Hill, several of whom had been running in the top 10. Everybody walked away, but the carnage resulted in a 20-minute red flag. When the racing resumed, it was again Elliott jumping out front. Meanwhile, back behind him, two Georgia favorites, T.J. Reed and NASCAR Camping World Truck Series regular Max Gresham, went at it for a top 5 spot. Augie Grill and Willie Allen did the same for second. Lap 91, leader Elliott suddenly slows in turn 3, the result of a broken sway bar. Seeing no alternative, Chase stopped in turn 4, drawing a caution. When the yellow came out, he drove away with a chance to fix his car and save his race. Race officials penalized Chase, however, 1 lap, and he could not use the free pass to get that lap back. Now, here's where things got interesting. As Elliott was in the pits making repairs, race officials got ready to go back to green. Gus Dean could not get lined up in the right spot, and officials had to wave off the restart. That allowed Chase to finish making repairs and get back on the track without losing any additional time. He stood to lose maybe 2 to 3 laps. That saved Elliott's race. Willie Allen would go on to win the first of 3 segments, and invert on the restart shuffled the field, and when racing got going again, Max Gresham surged to the top spot. Meanwhile, Elliott is on a rampage. 27 laps into the second segment, and the Aaron's Dream Machine powers around Gresham to get back on the tail end of the lead lap. A caution on lap 143 brings the field back together, and on the restart, Grill jumps out front. Gresham would see his night come to an end a few laps later with contact to the turn 2 wall, with the 9th caution of the night. On the restart, Grill was in command, but Elliott was the man on the move, and on lap 165, he powers back to the lead and never looks back, winning the second segment of the event. In the final 33 laps, Elliott was in his own zip code, moving out to score a huge come-from-behind victory in the Beau Slocumb Memorial. Here's what Chase had to say in victory lane. Chase, just an incredible come-from-behind win. How in the world did you do it?
I don't know. Just this guy never gave up. I mean, I speak for myself as well as our whole team. To come out pit road and get that fixed. I feel like we had to do what we had to do to get that car caution to come out, because if not, it would have been done. So took our penalty and served it, and was able to get back on the lead lap.
How does it feel to win the second Beau Slocumb Memorial?
It feels awesome. I mean, obviously this one's for Beau. I hate that we lost him last year. He was a heck of a race car driver. I got to run a race with him here, and I feel like he might have just about had that race won, and had a heck of a wheelman, and he's definitely in our hearts tonight.
Following Elliott to the checkered flag was T.J. Reed, Augie Grill, R.S. Center in fourth, and Gus Dean fifth. Visit RaceweekIllustrated.com for more details. Joining us now is GMP General Manager Dan Elliott. Dan, what a race!
Yeah, you know, starting out early, it looked like Chase and Augie were really going to battle the whole race. I knew Chase had a great car because I noticed the lap times practice from when they unloaded. Everybody seemed to be within about a tenth of a second, which is a tight field. Then whenever the practice came closer to a close at the end of the day, it looked like Chase definitely had the car to beat, and I thought that they were kind of playing with the field a little bit, and he had a better car than what he was showing. And I really thought Augie was doing the same thing, but to me, Augie struggled in this race and didn't run the Augie Grill style that he's used to running.
Well, one of the things that hurt Augie was we found out after the race he'd lost his brakes there towards the end, so he really couldn't put on as big a charge, and that kind of works into the
part of the story. It looked like he lost his gas too at some of the first of the race because Chase played with him there a little bit during those first laps, those opening laps. But when Chase made his move, he checked out, and he sure took the rest of the field to school.
Now, Chase's dad once said he would rather be lucky than good. Chase was both Saturday night. Caught a huge break when Gus Dean wouldn't get back in line where he had to be. They had to wave off the restart. Talk about a big break. That saved his race right there.
Absolutely. The ideal, smartest thing they did, and I told Chase this in the tech shed Saturday night, was the fact that they stopped on the racetrack, bringing out an intentional caution, which meant a one-lap penalty that you couldn't make up with a lucky dog. And it looked like, from the fans' point of view, that they couldn't understand what was going on. But you can't just stop on the racetrack, caution flag comes out, and you drive off. There's got to be a reason. You need to hook the record to it, and that's the way the rules are for everyone.
Right.
And that was the smartest thing they could do. And it gave them an opportunity to see what was wrong with the car, what was broken, and fix it. But credit to the crew also, because they did a remarkable job in the time allotted to get the car fixed and back out on the track.
Absolutely. Ricky Turner and the crew were just all over that car from the time they got on there, and they nailed it, and that gave the Aaron's Dream Machine what they needed to win. Now, lap 31, we lose so many top contenders. Bubba Pollard blew the engine in turn one, dumped oil on the track, and it was just on from there. So many cars caught up in that. Yeah,
I looked up and I saw a whole part of the field up here stuck in 1 and 2, and I really at that time couldn't tell exactly who was in it, how bad the damages were, or what started it, but you could see on the racetrack that shiny streak that went around through there. So I knew there was fluid, didn't know what it was, whether it was radiator hose or engine, but come to find out, and I talked to Bubba, and he said the car had started slowing down, which we saw leading up to that. It started slowing down, so the engine was seizing up, and it finally let go.
Big night for the kids.
Big night for the kids. I told Chase in the infield on Saturday night, I said, kids, 1, old timers 0. It was the kids wore them out on Saturday night, and that was a long race. The kids aren't used to races this long, but that was a long race for them. Biggest laps I've seen out of one of these races, about 125 laps, and this one was 208. Kids did remarkable. RS Center did an awesome job keeping up the field. Cody Coughlin, you had a group there that was awesome.
What did you see in this race that you want to take forward to next year's Memorial?
Oh, more of the same. Bring more cars and the excitement. Every time I looked up, there was racing and pacing everywhere on the track, and I think that's what the fans loved about it. The field was such a great field of competitive cars, and that's what you want to see. The numbers really don't dictate how good the race is. Being that competitive field does, and I was so impressed with how the field qualified and how they raced, and remarkably, it was clean until Bubba's engine, which he could not help. But it was a remarkably clean race. They raced side by side. The worst crash I've ever seen was Mason Massey coming off of turn 4 here. That looked like a Talladega crash from the looks of the car after the event was over. It was remarkable that he didn't get hurt.
Well, Dan, we're going to come back and we'll talk about the local divisions in just a few moments. We're going to take a quick break, folks, and then we're going to sit down with the winner of the Beau Slocumb Memorial 208, Chase Elliott. You're watching Raceweek Illustrated Garage Talk. We'll be right back.
Are you temporarily short of cash and you need to keep the bills paid? Or maybe you just need a little extra until your tax refund comes in. I have the answer for you. MoneyMax Title Pawn. With a clear title to your car, you can be in and out of MoneyMax in a matter of minutes. And no credit check ever. MoneyMax Title Pawn, 2293 North Elm Street in Commerce.
Whether you're visiting the area or this is your home, for family fun, make your plans now. Head to Phonopolis Family Fun Center. Go-karts, bumper boats, bumper cars, water wars, mini golf, inflatables, spider zone and climbing wall, laser tag, mini bowling, a huge snack bar, and tons of great video games. The kids will have a blast, and so will you. Don't forget, with advanced reservations, Phonopolis has lots of group packages available, and they'll host your birthday parties too. Phonopolis Family Fun Center, Highway 441, Banks Crossing, Commerce.